It's fascinating that Wexford are now playing in their second Leinster football final in a couple of years, and the hurlers have already left the championship, which, if you were to go back 10 or 15 years, most people wouldn't believe.
Yeah, well, if you go back, of course, Wexford in the early years of the 19th
sure, but
or the 20th century,
yeah,
won 4 football titles and started off as a football county. And it was only in the 50s, really, when the Rackards and that group of people came along that hurling became the dominant force. So football is now beginning to get its fair share. And, of course, you know, the more success they get, the better chance there is that more people who would be dual players will opt for football. So, you know, football is now beginning to get a fair shake. And to me, Pat has said about the forwards, there's certainly quality forwards, and maybe as good a forwards as Kildare had against Dublin, but it would appear they haven't as good a backs.
All right, lads, and just to confirm, the result of that Leinster minor football final between Dublin and Meath just finished, Dublin winning it.
Since the Wexford game last year, this Dublin team has really improved. Would you go along with that?
Well, if you look at the stats, that game, I think it was 10-3 after 49 minutes. I suppose no one would have predicted the year that Dublin went on to have, and obviously how they've gone into the league and the matches this year. Certainly Dublin seem to be in a good position, and they certainly deserve to be favourites coming into today's match.
Both of these teams have been scoring goals for fun. There's been more said about the fact Dublin have, but the fact that they're going to have to defend against an impressive full forward line as well, how do you expect them to fare? Yeah,
well, I think Colin Morris will probably drop out, which will probably suit the Dublin backs. They'll have that kind of buffer or protection there. They won't follow him out. The one thing I would question is the actual intensity of the games that Wexford have been playing in. We were here to see them play Carlow, and there was certainly a significant step up in the Dublin-Kildare game, and I would hope that that different level of football will stand Dublin in good stead today.
Martin, do you think that could make a big difference, the different games they've had leading into this?
Yeah, and it's very interesting, Joanne. The Dublin team's just after going to the dressing room there. They stayed to watch the end of the minor game, so they're very, very relaxed. You can see that with them looking forward to it. Definitely, I mean, Wexford have played against Division 4 and Division 3 opponents. You have to say, you know, this is a big step up for them. The one thing they will do is that the first time the Dublin defence has come up against a lot of pace. Wexford forward line have a lot of pace. They will play Morris out the field and that there, but they create pace. It'll be interesting to see how they cope with that. And midfield's going to be the big battle. When you have two good forward lines, midfield becomes into it. See how the Dublin midfield go. Teams have been working very, very hard on Stephen Cluxon's kick out. We saw against Kildare when he ended up kicking out where there were 2 Kildare men. They knew exactly where he was putting it, where there were new signals or whatever, but they knew where he was putting it. So teams are working on that. So I'd say what you're going to see today is the kick outs will go longer down the centre into that midfield area, and that's why they've gone with 2 big men there. Now, the interesting one in Dublin teams in the past was the ability of the likes of Kieran Whelan, who this man would have played with, and Brian Mullins in the past. They had great football brains in the middle of the field. I'm not too sure as the players playing there, have they got that football brain to use the quality ball inside to the likes of you know, Bernard Brogan particularly in there. You still feel, Joanne, the Dublin forward line, if they get enough ball, they're going to do damage.
So you think Dublin, do you think?
The balance in this Wexford side, which looks good at the moment, they have good forwards, but Dublin play at a very high intensity. We saw what happened to the Leinster hurling final when you put Kilkenny up against Dublin, even though Dublin have been going so well. Kilkenny just blitzed them early on.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Dublin will come out and hope to do the same again. The concern I'd say the Dublin management would have is possible lack of motivation going into the game because everybody expects Dublin to win so easy. It was a bit different for Kilkenny, I suppose, in the hurling, and they had been beaten by Dublin on a couple of occasions and they had something to prove. But I still think Dublin want to go the short route. I think Gilroy now has a team that is progressing very, very nicely. They've come through the difficult side of the draw. Wexford have blown everybody else, but it was the easy side of the draw. They're now coming up against a different animal here altogether in Dublin, who have, I think, progressed a lot from last year. Because if you go back to last year's game between Wexford and Dublin, I think there was only 6 of the starting team today started last year. And they've added in a few. You had Owen O'Gara there, who can be a sort of a one-man battle ram up front and needs to add a bit of finesse to his play. But Dublin now are...
Wexford running up an impressive tally of 7 goals and 52 points in their 3 championship games against Offaly, Westmeath and Carlow. Dublin a little more modest in their 2 championship games, 228 so far, but Dublin starting very much on the front foot here with Bernard Brogan trying to make life difficult for Graham Malloy. It's a very difficult angle, but no bother to Bernard Brogan, and Dublin off the mark inside the opening 20 seconds. A flyer of a start by Bernard Brogan and by Dublin.
Yeah, Brogan jumped into the full forward line, picked up by Graham Malloy. That's where he came off as marker. I thought it was an impossible angle. He didn't. And what a score.
His discipline. Pat Gilroy was talking about O'Gara. says he is maturing. They have spoken to him about remaining calm in difficult situations. Eric Bradley for Wexford. Now Rory Quinlivan driving it diagonally, looking for Kieran Ling. One of the sharpshooters for Wexford. He gets a shot away under pressure, and that's a lovely score, cancelling out that lead point for Bernard Brogan for Dublin. Kieran Ling off his left boot, difficult angle, no problem.
Well, again, another from an amazing angle, lovely inside ball. Paul Conlon got caught off his marker, and Ling punished him with that lovely, accurate left foot of his.
Well, it's shaping up to be Aaron Flynn. Low ball into Bernard Brogan, who wasn't very closely picked up here, and Bernard Brogan off his right boot. And well, it's been a catalogue of wide balls from Dublin. Just over 5 minutes gone in the first, winning the All-Ireland in September. The other corner here today, Wexford. Well, it would be one of the fairy tale stories of this year's championship if they could lift the Delaney Cup. But Dublin on the front foot here. Layoff from Owen O'Gara. Wexford really opened up here. Dublin looking menacing. It's pulled in and over the bar. It's Dublin's second point of the game. And it's the main man himself, Alan Brogan, leading by example, driving forward, and Alan Brogan drilling that one over the bar. 2 points to 1 in favour of Dublin.
Yeah, lack of concentration, lost the marker. Alan Brogan got into the open. He's actually fouled as he's kicking it over. I think you'll find he's pushed just around here, and he slips it over. Referee gives him the advantage. Good call. Dublin lead.
Off to Malone. He's quite open. Malone on the front foot here for Wexford. Lovely layoff now to find Red Barry. Red Barry just picks up the pace. Eric Bradley, chance for goal perhaps here. And a brilliant challenge coming in the end. A really terrific challenge. Well, can Wexford get something from that opportunity that wasn't taken? Thanks to McCarthy's vigilant defending. Ben Brosnan with the 45, and he fairly nailed that one. His 21st championship score in 2011, and absolutely no mistake with that one. And it's 2-2 between Dublin and Wexford. Well, he's already hit 5 from place balls in this championship. Is this to be number 6 for Stephen Cluxton with the left boot? Well, he knew the moment he struck it that it was sailing over the bar. And Dublin edge in front here by 3 points to 2. And Stephen Cluxton with a pretty emphatic 45.
Well, that was the point I was making, that when David Murphy went to intercept the ball, he should have tried to tap it down to himself.
That one to perfection, but he failed to do so. From Cluxton's kick out. Kevin Flynn doing really well, and he has skipped away and he's driving forward here. It's a blue wave in the direction of the Wexford rearguard. Carried here by Kevin Flynn. And Flynn goes for it, and he has measured that one to perfection. Absolutely no pressure on Kevin Flynn as he strode forward, and plenty of time to sweep that one over the bar, and Dublin extend their lead.
Yeah, well, brilliant kick-up by Cluxton. He saw that Andreas Doyle was the last attacker. He was tired, so the kick-out went straight to Doyle's man, and that was Flynn. And
O'Gara trying to create the angle to get a shot away, and instead he elects to pass for Kevin Flynn. Flynn with the layoff to Diarmuid Connolly. Very deep for Dublin today. Connolly allowed to drive forward. Now Brian Cullen has a goal, backed himself, and it was a good decision. And Dublin extend their lead to 3 points. And Captain with an excellent point.
Yeah, that's a maturity that Dublin have been working on over the last few seasons. A lot of defenders in front of their face, not able to pick out the pass, so they go lateral because they're patient. They've learned that. They pick out Cullen, he gets the free shot, and he's good enough to nail it as well. With
those kind of frees, that'll be an easy pop-over free, I'm sure.
That's why Pat Kilroy stayed with him even after his trials and tribulations the last day, because he's strong, he's great power, he generated the free.
And easily dispatched by Bernard.
No, the build-up is very slow from the Wexford perspective. They want to stay in this game. They need to get the ball in a bit quicker.
There it goes from Brosnan, batted down by Red Barry in the direction of Kieran Ling. Has already scored one from a difficult angle, a similar angle, and has managed to do it once again. Well, that's what they needed at this stage of the game, approaching the 21st minute, and Kieran Ling grabs Wexford's 4th point of the game, and it was a fine score too.
Yeah, the long ball in early. Nice touchdown by Red Barry, and that's Ling's second one. It's almost a carbon copy of his first one. Fantastic accuracy on that left foot. Top form yet.
Well, Masterson with the kick out. The target on this occasion is Rory Quinlivan, but it's Eamon Fennell who has possession for Dublin. The early ball in now for Alan Brogan. Brogan has a look up. Initially thought about the shot, now he goes for it. Not enough curl on that one, or is there? There is. Well, he guided it in precisely. It had enough bend, and that's a super point from Alan Brogan, and Dublin lead by 4.
It's a great catch by Fennell, and his pass inside was every bit as good. And when he did kick it, it did look like it was going outside the post. But that's the beauty of two-footed players, left and right.
Just did enough, just got enough on it. Bradley. Block was by Alan Brogan. Short passing, an interchange of passing here from Joey Wadding. Twisted forward by Daithí Waters. Now Malone. And it's the Panther on the run here, and Adrian Flynn goes for it. It's a high hanging one, which it may well just creep over. And that's an excellent point for Wexford, scored by Adrian Flynn.
Well, it's a super one. And in that slow build-up, Adrian, I was just thinking to myself for a second, is there any possibility that Wexford are just taking in a very easy pace? Look at that block earlier on, and the point to make there was how brilliant it was on Ling. Michael Fitzsimons swung.
Manager, a heavy defeat in the Leinster final, as Brosnan takes the place ball, and he has managed to raise the white flag. Excellent score from Ben Brosnan. Once again, Paul Flynn. Alan Brogan. Bernard Brogan had made the run away from Graham Malloy. Still Bernard Brogan. Onagar on the edge of the small square. Brogan went for the point, but that's a disappointing effort from Bernard Brogan.
Accuracy and brilliance from this distance so far in this game. So this is a real chance to cut the margin to the minimum.
So Brosnan has a look up. He measures this one. There's scarcely a breeze here at Croke Park. Well, he's got the distance. Has he got the accuracy? Just about. Via the upright and over. And Wexford move to within a point of Dublin.
Well, the former soccer player, of course, with Wexford Youths. He strikes the ball so sweet. The accuracy wasn't great that time, but the post helped him.
It certainly did. And it's a one-point game at the moment. And the Wexford tails are up here at Croke Park. And they've been awarded free in here for the challenge on Eric Bradley. And just a coming together of sorts between Eric Bradley and Brian Cullen. Murphy takes the free, but it was rather telegraphed. And Cullen
fairly tentative first half. Obviously a low-scoring game so far. Neither side has really gotten going.
No, and the reason for that, for the fact that it's not much of a game, is because both sides are playing so defensively. You know, Wexford set out to frustrate Dublin, which is fair enough. They were coming in as rank underdogs, and they're getting 8 and 9 men behind the ball in defence. And Dublin have been completely frustrated by this. I find it very difficult to get through it. And Dublin played for a long time in the first half as if they just expected to win by showing up. And Wexford are now growing in confidence, becoming a bit more out of their shell, have scored the last 3 points at the half, but overall it's a poor quality game.
Because of that sort of defensive structure that the two of them are playing, Pat, Wexford are getting a fair bit of the ball around the middle of the field.
Oh, which both teams are getting a bit. I mean, you could close your eyes, and I could close my eyes for the minute a kick out goes. I could close my eyes, and I could tell you what's happening for the next minute, because it goes to the free man, because the other fella, the opposition, has gone back a sweeper. Free man carries it, and he hand passes it to the next free man, and he tries to break a tackle, and he carries it, and he carries it. I mean, look, Michael, what you saw there was a very poor first half, but it's a symptomatic of what we have in Gaelic football. It's more perspiration rather than inspiration. What you see is two teams who are wonderfully trained athletes, very fit, very, very committed. You know, the fitness levels are amazing. But you also have the negative, where both teams have set their stall out to win by setting up negative defensive tactics. So what you, like you say, what you see, you concede possession, you carried it along, and we saw the warm-ups, and we talked about the warm-ups at the start of the game, and they were unbelievable. The stretching, the sprints, the hand-passing drills, the goal-keeping drills. Two things never happened. Sure, a couple of them kicked a few balls at the goal. There's no kick passing, no nothing at all. And this is the problem. There's no kick passing, and any few attempts at kick passing there are absolutely woeful. So, not surprising. This is what we get from modern coaches and modern day training. So it was a
Here is Morris, lifting it forward, looking for Red Barry out in front of his man, bringing it down. Escape the attention of Rory O'Carroll, and it's going to be a free in for Wexford. And that's Red Barry at his best, quickly out to gather, turned his man and won his free.
It was a bit of a hit and hope. You can see the foul, Paul Conlon coming back. Both men took heavy knocks. No question about that.
Ben Brosnan has the opportunity to draw level. Leinster final, and Brosnan confidently strikes it over, and the sides are level for the third time in the Leinster final. Forward from PJ Banville. Bright stuff from Wexford. Malone getting forward. Plenty of support players getting forward. And it's PJ Banville. Banville with the offload. Chance of a goal here. And it's in the back of the net. And Wexford have got the goal. And Red Barry has found the back of the net. And Wexford go 3 points clear. Oh, what a start to the second half for Wexford. Oh, what a goal. Brilliantly crafted and brilliantly executed as well.
The hand pass, I'd have to say, was a bit iffy, but a lovely finish.
But Dennis Bastick. Bastick faced by Eric Bradley, runs into trouble in the shape of Andreas Doyle. Now Alan Brogan, the early ball looking for Kevin McMenamin, away from Joey Wadding. Still Kevin McMenamin, and that's an excellent point for Dublin. They needed that. Brilliantly taken score by Kevin McMenamin. Here's Mossy Quinn. Faced by Brian Malone. Early ball in, Bernard Brogan out in front of his man, and Brogan on the turn. How many times have we seen him do that before? And that's an uplifting score from Bernard Brogan, and precisely what Dublin required. Paul Flynn. Dennis Bastick. There's Mossy Quinn lifting it in over the top, looking for Bernard Brogan, and off the line, goalkeeper came. And the ball ends up on the back of the net, and what a hugely cruel goal that is on Anthony Masterson and on Wexford, but Dublin will take it all day long.
Oh, he should have caught it. He was driving onto it, palmed it against his own defender, Anthony Masterson, as Graham Malloy retreated. I think that's what you'll see here. Yeah.
And Brogan. Jason McCarthy out right here. Here is Jason McCarthy. Trying to get away from Daithí Waters. Still Jason McCarthy. He may well go all the way. Oh boy, he goes all the way. And the defender has driven Dublin further clear here. What a terrific goal that is by Jason McCarthy. He started the move, and boy did he finish it.
Well, he took Daithí Waters on the outside. I was talking about how they seem to lose their legs, and then the game opened up from the pitch, opened up for him, and he drove on. But look at the quality of the finish, Adrian. We get a bird's eye view of it here. Beautiful line here, and bang.
And Ben Brosnan drive Wexford forward here. Still Brosnan, allowed to travel a fair distance. Still travelling. Ben Brosnan gets a shot away. Absolutely superb point for Wexford. And he's allowed to carry it, but didn't he do really well in the end? At times crisp in their passing, but back in line with the overly pleased with the overall level of performance this afternoon. But Kevin McMenamin has managed to wriggle free here. He went to shoot, was just checked, forced to go all the way back out. And the effort coming in, and that's going to drop over the bar. That's a lovely score from the new man in, Ross McConnell. Dublin have reclaimed the Delaney Cup. They've come through. James McCarthy with that goal in the second half. Arguably, it was a decisive moment for Dublin. It has finished Dublin 2 goals and 12 points. Wexford 1-12.
All credit to Wexford. They did exactly what we thought they would do and put us under fierce pressure. We took very bad options up front. I mean, it probably is the worst we've done up front all year, you know. But, you know, credit to Wexford. They put us under severe pressure and forced us to shoot from very bad positions.
We didn't get enough ball to our full forward line. It's as simple as that. Dublin stifled in the middle of the field, and we didn't deliver the ball fast enough. Kieran and Redmond looked as if they could do damage, as could Ben when he was getting space, but we just didn't deliver the ball fast enough. And, you know, you learn from these things, I hope.
It's a bit mute there, all right, in the dressing room. I suppose we're disappointed really with our overall performance. If we have any aspirations for doing something in the All-Ireland series, you know, we'll have to be playing a lot better than that, particularly in the first half, where we were a bit all over the place at times when Wexford came at us.
All right, big day for Brian Cullen. Kevin McStay, your reflections on the game?
Well, it was a strange type of game, I'd have to say. You know, it was a hard kind of game to categorise, and I think you'll find it was a hard game to analyse as well. I think Wexford will have regrets for sure. They had opportunities. I think Dublin will be relieved that they've won the Leinster, but not overly pleased with the performance because of the various problems it's shown up in their line-out. It was very defensively orientated.
They didn't look as if they were as vibrant as they normally are. They're sparkling kind of forwards, instinctive players, and they just didn't get the chance today, whatever it was, and they were both taken off again. So I think there's big questions over Dublin this evening.
All right, then we'll chat more about the quarterfinals later. Kevin, your nominees for man of the match?
Well, it was a good day for key performers, and the first guy we went for was Ben Brosnan, who had a terrific game for Wexford. Never stopped trying. 9 points, from frees, from 45s, and from play. He was marvellous. Alan Brogan again continued his marvellous form this season, scoring from play, but very creative and a really good performance. And finally, we went for James McCarthy, who had you remember the block we talked about early on, and then, of course, the terrific goal at the end of it. A very good performance from James also.
OK, and the winner, Tony?
We went for Alan Brogan at centre forward. I think he's playing really well. He's back to his best, actually, and he's a massive plus for Dublin. He's bridging that gap between the defence and the attack. He got 3 points from play today, and he's a smashing footballer. In fact, you could have reversed the roles today. You could have put Alan in the full forward line where Bernard was and moved Bernard out, as a support actor today, because Bernard on form is as good a player as you're going to get. Or Alan.
Yeah, well, not a
They're both.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the way he curled in a couple of them was...
They were absolutely tremendous. But I'd even go beyond that and talk about his creativity. He's moving the ball very nicely. As Tony says, he's making the link, and he's a huge, huge plus at a time when Dublin need all the pluses they can get.
Right. All right, then let's hear from them, because after the match, Alan spoke with Joanne Cantwell.
The Leinster Council Chairman Martin Skelly is here to present the GAA Championship Man of the Match, Alan Brogan, with his award.
Congratulations, Thanks very much. Tremendous performance. Thank you.
Well done, Alan. Was it difficult for the forwards in there, given the way Wexford had set up their defence?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of unexpected. We seemed to have a lot of chances, but they got a lot of pressure on us, and we missed a lot of chances, which was very disappointing. But they gave us a great battle, in fairness. Really put it up to us, and like, we got a lucky goal midway through the second half to kind of brought us back into it. We were looking in trouble at that stage. That goal probably knocked the stuffing out of them, but we were very fortunate to get it.
Interesting. OK, then now to yesterday's hectic action